So how do you take massive action? This is such an important topic that not so many people talk about, because quite frankly, when you're on YouTube, you are yet to do one thing, which is to learn how to become a better person or a better version of yourself. If you're watching my content about business growth, high performance, and how to sell online, you want to become a better version of yourself. But the problem is, when you are learning and not implementing, nothing actually changes. Now let's jump right into this. I got three things for you right now. First and foremost, we have to talk about limiting information. Look, a few years ago, when I was just getting started in business, I loved reading legendary books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad and Poor Dad. All these books that every single guru talks about, right? They are fantastic books, don't get me wrong, and I will encourage you to read them. But you see, the problem is when you read all these books and you don't implement, the question is, are you actually changing? Just pause this video and ask yourself, the last time you read about Think and Grow Rich and you were told to close your eyes or do some meditation stuffs, I want to ask you a question. Check your bank account. Do you have money there? Instead of going out to make a sale or posting on Instagram or selling something online, that's how you make money, right? The first lesson I want to share with you today is actually to limit the amount of information you read or you receive or you watch. A lot of people always ask me, King, what kind of books do you read? Do you realize that this book called Cash Advertising, I've been studying it for the past 3 months now, and I probably have read 2 books in the past 3 months. And a lot of people are like, what? I thought you're a business person. I thought you're a business coach. Yeah, I do know a lot. I watch a lot of trainings. I watch videos. I also hop on YouTube to watch videos. But I'm not mindlessly becoming addicted to a lot of informations out there. Because what happens when you begin to learn and read stuff or watch videos is that it literally becomes an addiction. And if you're not implementing, what's the whole point of learning? What's the whole point of watching videos and tutorials? So I believe it was in How to Win Friends and Influence People, I think in the first chapter, that Dale Carnegie said, the purpose of learning is implementation. So you have to first and foremost ask yourself this question: what was the last book that I read and I was able to retain it? Because most people just read books. They think that reading book will make them being productive, and they keep reading and they try to read the next book and read the next book or watch the next videos, and they forget everything that they've read. And second of all, how much of it were you able to implement? Now, the second lesson I want to coach you on is the 80 to 20 rule. Now, what's the 80 to 20 rule? The 80 to 20 rule is a law that I literally developed, and it's called 20% information and 80% implementation. This is something that I always tell my clients, I always tell my mentee, that information without implementation is absolutely meaningless. That someone reads a book and watches videos, tutorials, does not mean that the person will succeed actually, right? It's the implementation that gives the person the success that the person requires. So let's say, for example, you go through a book called Cash Advertising, this book here, Cash Advertising, and imagine you begin to open pages, different pages, and all of a sudden there's a dopamine released in your brain and you want to keep on reading. You understand? Now, I've been reading this particular book for the past 3 months, and there are certain things that I need to learn from this book. For example, now I opened the first 3 pages and it's teaching me how to sell stuffs online, how to compose or write an emotional message that can captivate the hearts of people, right? So what I do is that I try to make sure that I implement whatever I've learned, right? So I don't just make sure that I read everything. I ensure that I read a certain part of the book and I begin to take action. The third lesson I want to share with you guys is strictly for procrastinators and people who think that they are perfectionists, right? So for me, I know that the only perfect person that existed on this earth is Jesus Christ. And if you're claiming that you're a perfect person, then I think you are very egoistic, right? So no strings attached. It's just personal, right? So now, if you want to succeed, you need to avoid procrastination. And let me just give you an example. So for example, when I started online, I sucked at selling. So what I discovered that a lot of persons will do is that they go on YouTube and they watch videos about how to make sales, how to close sales. Some persons even spend a lot of money to buy courses, which is not bad, right? So they spend up to 50,000 naira or $50, you understand, to buy courses, which is not wrong, right? But the problem is that they completely suck after buying those courses, and they are unable to learn what to do because there is this thing called information overload, right? So instead of taking a massive action, for someone like me, I will take massive action. But when I read a book or I go through a sales video, if the first topic is how to close sales in DMs, this is what I'm going to do. I'll look for a friend of mine who I know that I can interact adequately with, and I'll tell him, okay, can we just do a role play whereby I can send you DMs, and because I want to sell a particular product, so act as though you are the prospect while I act as though I'm the salesman. And when I begin to do that, we begin to interact, right? I try to close him. Now, if I fail, I'm learning from the process. Now, it will be very easy for the person who is my friend to tell me that I failed, I was unable to do certain things clearly, right? So that's the wisdom behind taking massive action for procrastinators. So persons want to fill their mind with a lot of information, and at the end, they are unable to take massive action. Simple things like role play with my friend has been able to help me to have a particular pattern that has helped me in such a way that I've learned my mistakes and I know what not to say whenever I'm interacting with prospects. It's just like when you're riding a bicycle and for the first time, and as you're riding the bicycle, all of a sudden you fall down and you get bruised, right? What happens? Some persons might just feel like there's no need to keep learning this bicycle, just drop this bicycle and that's all, right? But you know that until you pick up the bicycle and keep trying, you won't be able to perfect on it. So that's how life operates. You need to learn from failures as somebody that wants to succeed. So many people, because of the fear of failure, they don't like taking actions because they feel that they will fail. They already have the notion that they will fail. So if you keep going, jumping from one course to another, buying books, lots of books, exposing your mind to lots of information, and you're unable to take massive action, you can't compete with somebody who gets little information and take actions. That's why you see that there are certain persons who are more wealthier than the others, right? Because some persons are actually broke because they are unable to take action. Does that make sense? So I want you to do me a favor. I want you to drop comments below and tell me so far which of the following methods was helpful to you, because this is one of the most important concepts I could ever impress upon you. That's the importance of taking massive action. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. Remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. I'll talk to you later.